All right. We are back. We are back. The moment of truth to be continued with NDB. India Blocker 4. We started this thing off strong. Started tonight off strong. India, she had a sudden emergency, had to hop off, but we back. So we're excited to bring her back on. Just waiting for her to tap back in right now. Thanks for joining again, Freya. Hey, Vito. What's up, Kiana? How you doing? Thanks for joining. We getting ready to bring India back on, y'all. All right, I see you, India. Uh-oh. All right. You bringing India back on? We are back. We are back. India, hey, what's going on? Welcome back.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, so.
Hey, Charlie. I'm sorry.
We you can tell you know me from way back. You call me Charles, right? Everybody knows me as Charlie, but
I know.
only certain people know the Charles part. But I want to say thank you for coming back, India, because I know you had a sudden incident that happened when you had to hop off earlier. But for you to come back, you were like, let's make it happen tonight. I really commend you for that because things happen. You know what I mean? So we appreciate you for that. And as people are tapping in, thank you all for joining the Moment of Truth. This is the to be continued edition of earlier. We started at 7:30. India had to hop off. Now we're back. She was gracious enough to come back and bless our platform now. Again, if you all are just joining, this is India Blogger 4. She's a community activist. She's the founder of NDB, Modeling and Mentoring. She's doing so much in her community, so much great work in her community, and we just honored to have her. If you all can do us a favor and hit that arrow at the bottom right-hand side of your screen and invite about 10 people to this conversation. She was going real deep earlier. If you want to see the beginning of this conversation, you can look on our page. It's posted on our page. But we're going to jump right back in where we left off at. India, you were explaining to us earlier that you had lost a cousin to gun violence. He was shot in school, and he was fairly young. He was 14, correct?
Yeah, he was 14.
And the individual who shot him was 16.
Yeah.
At the time, and the young man who was incarcerated for, shooting your cousin, he was incarcerated, and you found it in your heart, a place in your heart to forgive him. For those who are just tapping in right now, can you kind of go back into what led you to that moment where you found that space in your heart with everything that you've dealt with in your past? Like you come from, humble beginnings where you were, involved in a lot of, violent activities and, hanging out on the block in which you explained earlier. And one of your things that you mentioned earlier was the fact that you used to release your pain through fighting, right?
Yeah.
So the only way you knew how to release the things that you were going through is through aggression. And for you to find a space to forgive a person who slayed your cousin, take us back to that moment in time for those who are just coming in.
So, as I was saying before we left, I was just telling Charlie, what put me out there in the street as far as what made me act up, because I didn't have to. I came from a household where I had a great mother, and I didn't have to act up, and that was something I chose to do. But what led me to that space was my cousin being murdered at my school when I was in the 6th grade. I was 11, he was 14. He lived in the house with me. My grandmother and mom had custody of him, so me being the only child, he was like my brother. Mm-hmm. So that's what really put me out there in the streets. Like, mm-hmm. I had no understanding of why, somebody his age will lose their life We were just all kids,
Right.
and that's when it became real to me. Like, we all could lose our life. So it was like, I just felt like you can't win for losing. So I just chose the wrong path. And that's what I wanted to do. And that's what I did. But as time went on, I told Charlie, like, I used to write the guy who killed my cousin. And one day he finally wrote me back.
Mm-hmm.
And when he wrote back, he said that he couldn't find the words to say to me,
Mm-hmm.
because he knew what he had done to us after years of reading my letters.
Mm-hmm.
I always told him how he made me feel. I told him what he did to my grandmother. Like, I just went on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And from that day, from then on out, it was like he told me that I changed his life, because
Right.
what we used to do was read my letters and it helped him be a better person.
Right.
So he
Wow.
started calling me and, writing me, and I would talk to him on the phone. I built a great relationship with his parents and stuff. And I was telling Charlie earlier this year in March, I testified for him on Zoom so that he could come home from prison.
That's
You
powerful.
know, because I feel like everybody deserves a second chance, and it gave me closure,
Mm.
because I knew I had forgave him fully when I was able to be brave enough to get on that Zoom and speak on his behalf after
Wow.
he took somebody so dear to my heart from me. So
Right. How long was he incarcerated before you did that?
24 years.
Okay. Wow. So there was a lot of growing. I mean, you initially reached out and, was writing him and expressing, some of the things that you wanted to express to him, and you found a way to in your heart to forgive him. That's powerful. And also, I, I'm just kind of piggybacking off what you said earlier as well in regards to when you were dealing with some of the things that you were dealing with as a child. You also went to therapy to kind of try to. Your mom put you into therapy, being the great
Yeah,
mom that she is, and she recommended you. You say oftentimes in our community, our families don't believe in therapy. You know what I mean?
that's
They
true.
they don't
That's
they
true,
don't
because I see it right now.
right.
Me being a part of the community, you know what I mean? And
Mm-hmm.
me giving back, me being a community activist, me just being who I am, I see it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of parents don't believe in it. And growing up, I'd never seen none of my friends with the therapy. So
Mm-hmm.
my mother put me in it. I felt like she was, I was like, why are you doing this to me? You know what I mean? I'm
Right.
like,
Right.
what? So I used to go down there to the big chair.
Mm-hmm.
I went twice a week. I used to be so frustrated. But the thing
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do was, how most people react in school. Like, you go to school and you take all your anger out on the teacher, the classroom, you be the class clown.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I did not do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that. I always waited till I got home to be bad outside, but I was always good in school. So when
Wow.
she put me in therapy for behavior, I'm like, they don't even got me a behavior, and no behavior special programs at school for my behavior. And
Mm-hmm.
here I am at home, and she's taking me to therapy every Tuesday and Thursday. So I'm like, I be telling my friends, like, she doing this on purpose, like she trying to teach me a lesson. I don't know what she's trying to do, but for real, she just was a mother that wanted to help me.
Right. Right. And
She wanted
salute.
to help me, and
Right.
I was embarrassed about it, because I'm just like, it's nothing wrong with me. Because at
Mm-hmm.
the time, I felt like going to therapy, something was wrong with you.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of like the narrative that we have in our minds and our communities. Like, I don't need no therapy. You know what I mean? What's somebody I know I don't even know going to do to help me out? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
would you say that therapy helped you out? Would you recommend therapy to young girls that may be dealing with some of the things that you dealt with when you were that age?
Yes, I would, because I mean, even it's like this, and it's like, even though I'm a mentor, right, and I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
therapist, I see some of the same things in the kids that used to be in me. Like, when you first start out, it's like you be like, you just not up for it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
rejecting it. You rejecting all the help.
Right.
So
Right.
I used to be like that. I used to go to therapy and be like, it's
Mm-hmm.
like, how you doing, Andy? I still remember like yesterday. I used to be like, hi. And I would never say nothing, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then after going and going and going, I started talking.
Right.
They'll be
Wow.
like, what's bothering you? What makes you fight? And I'd be like, The fact that I come home from school and my cousin is not in his room, or it was just the
Yeah.
small things for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like they listened to me instead of trying to tell me what was
Mm-hmm.
wrong with me.
Mm-hmm.
They were listening. They did more listening than talking.
So
So
let me ask you this though. Do you think that's like the main, like one of the main ingredients with dealing with youth? Because oftentimes, you know, we all remember having people that come in our lives and we may be messing up at a particular time and they trying to tell it. They beating our head down with a bunch of information saying, you need to do this, you need to do that. One of the key ingredients, if I'm hearing you right, is listening to the youth. Do you feel like sometimes the youth don't feel like their voices are being heard?
yes, and that's why that's so important to me and what I do. I
Mm-hmm.
listen more than anything because I feel like as well as we have a story to tell them, they have a story too. So we
Mm-hmm.
need to take in and listen to everything they have to say, before we start to just try to fix the issue. Because we
Right.
can't fix it if we don't even know what's going on.
Right.
And that's what I see so much with a lot of different mentors is they try to talk and try to, yeah, I know what's going on. You don't. You got to
Mm-hmm.
listen to them first. It could be so much going on with them and we just don't know. So I like to listen and I want to hear you out and I want to make you comfortable enough where you could call me or pull up on me or walk up on me and just tell me what's actually bothering you that day
Right.
or what's bothering you, period.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can help, that's what I want to do. And if me just listening to you helps you, then that's good for me.
Yeah, and I feel like you gotta understand that we like us doing the work. If you were like yourself, like you were the India that was fighting 25 years ago. You know what
I
I mean?
know.
It's like a totally different, like, aura, totally different world. Like we've lived the experience. We understand what can avoid situations now that we've grown up and we've
Hmm.
developed in a way where we're able to see it coming. Like our parents used to say, "I done been there, done that." But
Right.
you can't force information on someone and not meet them where they are and expect them to retain it because they're not hearing it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I love that approach. So speaking of mentoring, I want to kind of like, segue. That's a great segue into NDB mentoring and modeling. You know what I mean? Because you went through your trials and your tribulations growing up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Thank you for sharing that. And again, for those who are just joining on this half, we actually had a beginning half at 7:30 when we were on earlier with India. India had to hop on. Now we're back on. Thank you all for joining. Um, but India expressed a lot of things that she went through as a child. So you can always go back to our page of Community Connoisseurs and view what she mentioned earlier. But I want to segue into NDB's mentoring and modeling. So you went through what you went through, and then you had a shift in your mentality. You said that your
Yes.
cousin's death, played a major role in some of the things that you do now. You know what I mean? Just leaving all of the things that you were involved with alone and you
Yes.
formulated NDB modeling and mentoring. Tell the people how that kind of came apart. Where did the idea spark from? Where did your name come from? And how the idea ensued?
So, so, all right. So in the community, I even had pictures, y'all, of like when I was about 13, me gathering all the kids out the back of my house, us dancing and me teaching them all these dances and stuff like that. So once I got like, I'm gonna say 17, I had this little troupe called the Traffic Divas, which it was like the girls in my community now, it's like 20 something, they were all a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
We danced, they performed, we won trophies. I have all the trophies in my house. And we were called the Traffic Divas. So then after a while, I was like, I need to change the name. I don't like the name, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, I know what I'm gonna call them. I was like, we're gonna be NDBs because my name India, and then Queen B. So I was really
Okay.
so
Okay.
I
Queen
wanted
B.
it to be that. So it's Indy.B, and that's what I went for, and that's what it's the best decision I ever made.
Yes,
And then
indeed.
when I started getting the kids younger into my program, like 4 years old on up, that's when I talked on mentoring and modeling because I'm like, these kids have to be mentored first. We
Mm-hmm.
want to teach them, build them, you know what I mean, uplift them. So that's the reason why, I tapped on the mentoring and marketing part, because that's what was about to happen.
Absolutely, that's amazing. So, India, I got a question about your approach. You kind of mentioned it earlier in regards to listening to the youth. How do you? I mean, because you have a lot of young girls in your program, and how what's your how do you, is it are they all in the Woodland area, or do they come from different areas of Ward 8?
So, a majority of my kids, probably 20 of my kids or 25 of my kids are based in Woodland.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have some on Hartford. Then I have some from uptown. I have them, I'm talking about down by Congress Park. I have them, they are all over, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I love it that way because I get to teach the kids in the community really how to, mix themselves in a different group of girls,
Mm-hmm.
that's not from where they from.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you think about it, we grow up in our hood and that's all we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how it be. But I
Mm-hmm.
thank God that when I grew up, I love to cheer, I
Mm-hmm.
love to play basketball, and I love to run track.
Mm-hmm.
I did none of that in my community. I did
Mm-hmm.
all of that at Fort Davis Rec Center.
Right,
So I
right.
got a chance to get out the community. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
meet new
definitely.
people. Because I was basically cheering and playing basketball with people from Maryland. People, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? People from
Right,
Ward 7. I knew everybody.
right.
So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like me mixing the girls up together is just giving them that opportunity because they don't
Right.
get to go outside of the community. So
That's huge because like that is kind of like impactful in a child's life when they can go out, they can meet different individual, different people from different environments and see different things. So that's part of what you do. You also have like, sessions where you're able to speak and talk to. I see somebody, Joanna said, Woodland kids are tough. She said respectfully. She said Woodland kids are tough respectfully. I definitely want to tap
hey,
into some of the
Joanna,
things.
listen, that's where we come from. And it's like you're raised in a community where you can't be nothing but tough. And
Mm-hmm.
that's honest. That's the honest God truth.
So talk to us about that. Like, you know what I mean? Because dealing with youth can be challenging. You know what I mean? Um, and especially where they're coming from, the environments that the youth that you're mentoring are coming from. It's all different types of things that one youth, let alone 20 to 30 of them, can be dealing with at one time. What are some of the trials and tribulations, trials that you deal with dealing with the young girls? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and how do you kind of find a way to get through that and to make sure that your mentorship and your leadership in their lives is progressive? Do you like connect with the parents? And how does that work for you?
So, like, let me tell you one thing I have a rough time with, and it's all the time. Like when I open up the team to like getting new people,
Mm-hmm.
I always have to have a conversation with them just to let them know, like, I'm not trying to replace you with
Mm-hmm.
nobody new. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want nobody to try to take your place. I just want you guys to get to know new people.
Mm-hmm.
So my squad is like 43, we're like 43 deep.
Wow.
So when I open up and other people, they be upset. They'll have the attitude and stuff like that. So then we have
Mm-hmm.
to have a meeting, and I have to really explain to them like what we dealing with, where we come from, and how people really view us.
Right.
And we
Right.
have to give everybody a chance.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that I work with the girls on, and just all the different challenges that the kids have together as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
You got some kids may not have what these set of kids have. You know what I'm saying? And if
Exactly. Yeah.
I can get them that, I do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I meet with my parents, tell my parents what I expect from them, what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And even my parents, they would tell you if something going on with them, they can come to me. I'm going to help them out. I'm going to do whatever. My
Right.
dues every month is $20.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't got the $20, that's fine. You text me on the sideline or you text my assistant Tanika and you let her know. And you know what we do? We waive the fees for that month.
Oh,
Because I know
wow.
even though it's $20, everybody don't got $20 to give. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, no
Everybody
doubt.
not having, like, you might have a job. This mother may not have a job. She might
Exactly.
got 6 kids, and one of her kids could be on my team, and
Mhm.
she needs this and she needs that. So that $20 that I'm taking from her, she could be using that to get something that, get something for her household. So I just always make sure I'm open, and my girls know they can always talk to me.
Mhm.
I do one-on-ones with them.
Mhm.
I do conference calls with them, conference calls with the parents. I
Mhm.
try to always make sure everything that I have, I open it up to them. I give it to them as well. I just make them a part of my whole life.
Yeah, and
And
they
even though
love
I
you.
didn't have them, they my babies and they're my kids. That's how I feel.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they love you. Like I've been a witness, and I'm sure a lot of people that's on right now have been a witness to how these babies gravitate to India. You know what I mean? Like you are like their second mom. You know what I mean? And it's just amazing. And it's so many models and it's so many things that's out here. But I think you have like the blueprint of engagement with families. One, because you have that lived experience. And I always say that lived experience is like no other experience. You can have as many, go to as many courses, read as many books. That's good too. But when you have that
Yeah.
lived experience, it's nothing like it. You know what I mean?
And
So,
that, I don't know, so let
but,
me say this too. Like, with these girls, y'all, y'all listening, like, with these girls, they send me text messages, y'all, that blows my mind.
mm,
It be just like, we love you so much. Thanks for all the things you do. Da 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 da. I just be like, wow. You know,
right.
when my birthday come, y'all, they all get together. The parents get together, and they give me the best gifts. And I
Mm-hmm.
be so excited. I be smiling. I just be so happy
This
because they
young girl
really take
right
the
here in this
time.
picture, she literally is breaking down crying, and I,
Yes,
I,
that's
I remember
Mumu.
this. Yeah, she was talking about the way you influenced her in her life, and she actually got emotional in this picture. I remember this.
Yes, and that's one of
Yeah.
my girls. She's Mumu. She graduated year before last, and right now she's doing some modeling with Rihanna. So I'm definitely
Wow.
so proud of her. And
Wow.
she's still on the team, so she's awesome.
And not only in NDB's modeling and mentor, because you do the mentoring piece, you also do the modeling. Tell the people about the modeling that you do and some of the shows. I know you've been in a lot of fashion shows. A lot of your kids are, like you said, like you work with her, and now she's working with Rihanna. Talk about that a little bit.
So the fact the modeling piece we do. So I do like groups every time we meet. We do one big group, right? And we stay in group for like 30 minutes, and we just basically talk about their day. Talk about what's going on with them. We pass the ball a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and after we do that, because like, we have to do that, I feel like that's like our Lord healing piece a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get to the modeling piece, and we model for like maybe an hour and a half. We work on different shows. We have been a part of a lot of different things. The most fun thing we ever been a part of was the Black Circus. That was so dope.
Wow. Yeah, I remember you did that.
I
Yeah.
love that. Was so dope. I was just so happy that they picked us. It was just
Mm-hmm.
so dope. So
Mm-hmm.
we have done stuff at Howard University. We have done cancer awareness. I mean, we've done so many things. Like people ask us all the time to be a part of this, to be a part of that. So I just really the modeling piece is like the fun piece for them, just to give them something to do. It's their activity, in everyday life. Like how for me, Shan was my thing. I
Mm-hmm.
love the Shan. I love them on track, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what I woke up every day and look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
So with them, it's the modeling thing. Like they can walk their butts off, and it's so crazy because my 4 and 5 year olds, they walk like they've been doing this thing for ever.
Mm-hmm. And that also like gives the youth a sense of self-assurance.
Security,
Yeah, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like security, like yes, I am who I am. You know what I mean? So I love it. I love it. And I
yes.
love the
And I
passion.
had this. So let me tell you, listen. I had so many girls who started modeling with me, and their parents was like, well, she's shy and this, that, and the third. And they started, and it would be like, like they just were shy. So then I always stop practicing, be like, listen, you see all these girls in here? They were just like you.
Mm.
You can do whatever you want to do. Act like they not in here. Because at one point, what did y'all look like? And they will, be
Yeah.
telling them, and they be like, now you our sister. So
Mm.
it's going to be okay. We're going to help you. This, that, and the third. And I'm telling you, it becomes magic.
That is amazing. That's amazing. So I would be remiss if I did not ask you because there's so many comments. I'm sure you saying them in in the comment box about how if someone has a daughter, how could they get them involved with your program, NDBs? Can you let the people know how they can get
Yes,
involved?
just go to my website at
Okay.
ndb.org and go to contact us and just fill out the information. And my sister Tanika will give you a call. Yeah.
Okay, so that website is pinned right there, ndp.org. Make sure
Yeah.
y'all go to that website and fill out the application process because as you can see, India has been doing great things, working with young girls at all ages. And the work that she does just speaks for itself. So please get connected with her. If you have a young daughter that would like to be a part of this phenomenal organization, please reach out to India and get acclimated. Also, India, I mean, a lot of people, when they hear NDBs, they think, the young girls, the mentoring and modeling, but you also work with young men as well. You know what I mean? You work with young men as well. So talk to the people like she's doing it all, y'all. Like she also works with young
So,
men. Talk about
and,
that.
hold on. To your question, no, they don't have to live in Ward 8. No.
Oh, yeah.
So I have a group called the NDB Soldiers, which they are my babies as well. They're starting from ages 9 to like 24. And I work with them on a daily basis. Like I take them on retreats. I meet with them. Just like I do the girls, I meet with them too on the opposite days. We sit down, we talk about their day. I just really try to get into them because, boys are different
Mm-hmm.
and boys need a lot of attention. We say girls need a lot of attention, but boys need a lot of attention because if not, then they seem to wander off and get into a lot of stuff. So I just try to show my boys the things they never seen, try to take them out the community, show them different things, and just let them know that they have me. I
Mm-hmm.
always try to check on them every day. You would think I'm their mother because if they do something or get into something, they come and knock on my door and be like, can you come and get your boys? And I'm like, what happened? That's the first thing I say. What
Right.
happened? Bro, they did this or that.
Right.
I go get them. And it's like, I'm the only one that can like see through them and get through to them.
Mm-hmm.
And my older boys, last week I did a job fair for them in my community with all
Mm-hmm.
the government agencies because they always tell me they want a job. So I got with
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Mitchell. He's the deputy mayor of what is it? Safety engagement. Is that what it's called? Charles.
What's that?
He's the deputy mayor for is it safety engagement?
I'm not sure, India, but I do
I
know
think
that
that's what it
about the
is.
event. I do know
Yeah,
about the
Mr.
event, and
Mitchell.
and, I,
But
and yeah, and I want.
he's also the chief medical examiner. But
Mm-hmm.
he's filling in as deputy mayor too
Mm-hmm.
until January.
Mm-hmm.
So I got with him and Wally in the one's office and we put together a job fair.
Mm. Wow.
And all the government agencies came out. And what I did was all my guys, I got all their names, their social security numbers, I got all the information. And I was able to give all their information to the agencies first,
Mm-hmm.
like the day before,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of, give them a head start. So the government agencies been reaching out to me, like letting me know the beginning of next week they're gonna start calling all my boys back,
Wow, that's wonderful.
interviewing them.
Mm.
And this, y'all, I'm gonna tell y'all the blessing of this. They told me that once they took a urine, if all they had was marijuana in their urine, they would get a job.
Wow. Wow.
Anything other than marijuana, then they wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was just marijuana, they're going to hire them. So, that was big for me because I'm like, everybody complain about my urine dirty, my urine dirty. They want jobs, but I mean, how quick can you really get that urine clean when in DC, marijuana is legal, but
Right.
it's not legal to the point where you can be smoking it and still get a job. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we get caught up at, and I think that's the part that's really hurting us.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just glad,
Yeah.
they got to get that part out the way.
Right. And I'm definitely going to touch on some of the work. I mean, because India is bringing, like, oftentimes you go to different organizations to get these wraparound services that the community needs. India is literally reaching out to community organizations all over the city and bringing them into her neighborhood. So I'm going to talk about that because I got a couple of those. We definitely got to share those stories with the people, let them know what you did and how you did it because it's powerful. But I also want to say, amongst everything else that you do on a daily basis, in the community, you're also a person with a family. You have the kids that you have. You're also a mother. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah,
so
I'm a mommy.
I want to talk about that balance. You know what I mean? Because like JoJo just tapped in and said, India is a true workhorse. That's true. You work, work, work. Literally, just now we were just on a podcast and you had something you had to jump and go and handle really quick, and you right back handling business. How do you balance? Because sometimes I find with parents trying to find that balance between family and work is oftentimes a struggle. How do you balance it all out?
So, my two daughters, Adri and RJ, they are part of my programs.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always together, and my son and my oldest daughter, but she's in college. She goes to VSU.
Shout out to Nay. She's doing big too.
Yes,
She's doing big. And she's
Adri is a
actually the next. She's the next. Like I feel like she's the next
she's the
MVP in
next
her
me,
community.
yes.
Yeah, she's doing. Yeah.
Adri is a senior in high school. I always make sure like I separate work from my personal life. You know what I mean? And I make I make time for my kids. I take them on trips. We go to the movies. We do all types of stuff. We
Mm-hmm.
have little family nights. We do everything. I do everything just, to let them know, like, no matter what I'm doing out here, you are number one. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So no matter what it is, I make sure I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. I take them. Look, we go shopping together. We do everything. And honestly, my 17-year-old, she sticks up my behind, y'all. Like, she want to go buy pictures. Everything I do, she's right with me. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I think the real challenge with having three girls and a son is that for my son, it's like I be kind of up and down because I be trying to make sure that I give him all the attention that he needs
Mm-hmm.
and I give him everything that he needs so that he won't transition to the streets or, feel like other people is getting more attention than him. So I just try to make sure I give him a lot of my attention as well, just
Mm-hmm.
so that he knows, like, mommy is here. Like, I'm always here. Like, this is us. We have our little own conversations. I talk
Mm-hmm.
to everybody one-on-one. It's just family is family, man. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Nobody can replace that. And I love my family, even my mom and my grandmother. My grandmother, 92. I
Mm-hmm.
go see my mom and my grandmother every single day. I
Wow.
don't miss a day because
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you only get one mother,
Yeah.
and I only got one grandmother. So I just try to balance everybody,
Mm-hmm. That's
So
that's amazing. So just finding time, like,
yeah, found
oftentimes.
it's all this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you, founding time is everything. I can tell you this weekend, Saturday. My mother cooked us breakfast. We all in my mother's kitchen gathered up, and we watching Netflix. But we in the
Right.
kitchen, and we
Right.
watching Netflix. All of us got our scarves on our head, and we just chilling. And people don't realize, like, the small things matters the most.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's just as
Absolutely.
small as sitting at the table eating breakfast together. That's everything. You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah. So I mean, you got to find the time for things that matter. you know.
Yes, and never
So,
neglect their feelings.
mm,
Listen, always listen to
yeah,
your kids, everything they got to say. Never neglect their feelings. If they feel some type of way about something, listen to them, hear them out, and you fix whatever the problem is. That's all you do.
mm-hmm,
That's what you do. You know, like my oldest daughter, like she feel like when I'm dealing with the boys, you know, because I give them, I would do anything for the boys, you know, in the community. I will help them out. Da, da, da. She be like, you help them too much. You do
mm-hmm,
too much for them. Like, stop doing that for them. Because sometimes she feel like they don't appreciate you, mom. You do
mm-hmm,
so much for everybody. They don't appreciate you. And I understand
mm-hmm.
how she feel because I was once her with my mother. And
Yeah,
not with my mother and the people in the community, but with my mom and her nieces and nephews.
right,
I'm the only child. She giving them the same
right,
thing she giving me. And I'm like, Mom, you my mother. You ain't their mother.
right.
But
And
I
I definitely want to
understand.
talk about because Nay is your oldest, right?
Yes.
I definitely want to talk because I know you I know you're super proud of all your kids. 'Cause all of them
Oh,
are
yes.
bright
You know
kids.
that.
All of them are bright kids. But her being your oldest, going off to college, setting the tone. You know what I mean for her younger siblings. Um, she she she's really going to be an impact in her community. I want you to talk a little bit about what she did over the summer. She did she brought all these youth together. You know what I mean? With you, you know, helping out, but you pretty much let her run the show on her own, really. And she organized something like a youth summit where she put all these youth together to prevent crime, gun violence. Right? Can you talk a little bit about that? That's powerful.
Yeah, so she was telling me, you know, that she wanted to do an event. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, you know, I think that's dope. You should do it. And
Hmm.
she's like, I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm like, listen, you could do whatever you
Sound
want to
like
do.
her mom.
Yeah, I'm like, just do it. You know what
Yeah.
she said? Mom, I don't want your help. I want to do it on my own.
Wow.
And you know what? I stepped back and I respected it because that's why I didn't have my mom's help with all the community engagement that I did.
Hmm.
You know, I did it on my own. And what I did was reached out to people that I felt like would help me, you know?
Right.
I told her, give me a task, and that's what I would do. She
Hmm.
gave me my task, and I did my part. I put up her flyer that I promoted for her. Everybody reached out to her. When I
Hmm.
say everybody, everybody reached out to her. Put their hands in it. They helped her. When I say I loved it, just watching it. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? I was like, whoa, this is bomb. And then she had all the kids who was killed from 2017 to now on the back of the shirt.
Wow. Mm.
And her and a group of her friends she graduated high school with, you know, they got together and they did this thing. And when I say it was amazing, it was dope. I can't wait to see the next one.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I had to highlight that during this
she's
conversation
strong,
because
man. She killed it. I mean, you know, and I
yeah.
always say like when it's something you really want to do, don't let nobody tell you you can't do
Hmm.
it because
Hmm.
anything can be done. You just
Hmm.
reach out to the right people and you get it done. And that's what I do. Anything I think about and anything I want to do, I just make some phone calls and everybody be like, I'm on board. And
That's
that's all
amazing.
it takes is
That's
for
a true.
somebody to believe in you, right?
Right. That's a true testament of your character as well. You know, you've been doing so much great work, and people know when India calls, you know, we gotta be there. You know what I mean? So I love what you're doing. I love how you sparking that flame in your daughter. I know you're super proud of your daughter. She's
Oh
following
man.
right in your footsteps. You know what I mean? I'm just super excited to see some of the things that she has coming up in her future. She's like your twin. You all look just alike, and she has that spark just like you do, and that creativity to uplift her community. And we
Yep.
need more youth advocates like her. You know what I mean? So all
Yes.
of it just wraps around of what you've already explained to us about how you integrate, you know, that family structure with your youth that you're mentoring. You have that family structure with your family. You find space and time to, you know, just be there and be present for your family. You listen to your kids, whether if they're your kids or if they're your mentees,
That's right.
you find time and space to really listen and engage with them. You know what I mean? And you give them your wisdom when time permits, but you also give them time to give you their point of view. I think
Yeah.
that's huge. I think that's huge, and I think that's a piece that can sometimes be missing in some of our households and in our community when we're out here doing the work.
Yeah.
We
That's
have to
true.
give our youth a voice. So I want to move a little forward in regards to, like, you know, the work that you've been doing in your community in Woodland. Like, you have, like, you do so much in your community, you know, outside of the kids, just for the residents in general. Like, you bring organizations, like you just said, you had the job fair that came to your community where you set up tents. You had different organizations and things like that who came out and were inside of your community, you know, providing those resources. Tell us a little bit about some of the things. I know you spoke about the job fair, but I see during the pandemic, you really stepped it up. Like, you went super hard with, like, providing hot meals. You had, like, toiletry bags. Talk to the people about that experience. And if they would like to get acquainted with some of the work that you do, how can they do that?
So, you know, when COVID happened, we all was in the house. We all was scared, everybody. But even though I was scared and I knew it was a chance that I could catch COVID, being in the streets, helping the people. But it was like, for me,
Mm.
if I didn't put myself out there and help the people, then who would they have?
Right,
So
right.
I partnered with people like Martha's Table,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, we did the groceries every once a week for the community. We did different communities actually. Then I partnered with Hamilton's and Wilmont Grill, and I thank Martha's Table for that. And 3 times a week, I had 350 meals to issue out to my community. And like I'm talking about that food, fish, meatloaf, stuffed chicken. They loved it. They really, really appreciated those meals. That was so dope, you know, and I did it consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I'm still doing it. I'm giving them groceries on every Monday. I give them huge boxes of groceries every single Monday. And I'm just still out there. The PPE, you know, I try to issue them that as much as I can. I partner with UPO to bring food and assistance to the community. I mean, it's been dope. And
Yeah.
coming up right now, you know, I have the Friendsgiving. That's going to be November the 12th, and it's going to be in my community. And I'm going to feed my community Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Right. And then Halloween, have the big Halloween party coming up for the kids. I just wanted to be where they can trick or treat with me and they can go in the house
Right.
because
So that
it's so
you did
dangerous.
you did something that, me personally, I don't know if it ever happened. I know I've never seen it before. And if anybody have seen this happen before, you know, I know for a fact I have.
Okay.
Something that you did, I want to say it was 2 weeks
I
ago.
know what that is.
She brought um what's the squad name?
MPD and the NSID unit.
The NSID, aka the jump outs.
Right.
The police unit that jumps out, you know, on people that may be outside in different communities. She brought that unit inside of Woodland and set up a forum with a community. I'm not even going to explain it. I know it was monumental. Tell the people about that full process. She had her whole community engaged with police. That's hard to do. Now that's what I call community engagement. Tell the people about that.
Okay, so y'all know how every community is when it comes to police and when it comes to
Right.
the jump outs, right? Nobody is comfortable with them. Nobody really likes them. So, you know, in my community, when stuff go wrong, they call on me, and I'm the voice for them. So one day, I wasn't around there, and they called my phone like, "Where you at? Come quick, come down." So I pulled up, and it's like the whole 7th District out there, and the NSID unit. So it's like my community versus them, and I'm looking at this like, "Are you serious?" I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to talk to one cop, and he kind of shoved me a little bit. And I was like,
Wow.
you know, you dead wrong for doing it. Like, We don't
Mm-hmm.
do that. Like, so everybody going crazy. I call the commander. I'm talking to the commander. He sent the captain. I get to talking to the captain. She just thanking me for all the good work I do, but I'm telling her, like, this is the problem. This has to be fixed. She gets to explain it to me. The NSID unit is not a part of 7 District.
Mm-hmm.
The NSID unit is over on New York Avenue. Separate unit from 7D. But what they will do is call 7D for backup. I said, okay. So then now I research and I get, I call my people. They give me the commander's number for who's in charge of the whole NSID unit.
Mm-hmm.
So I reached out to him and I called him on the phone. We had a great conversation and I let him know, your unit and my community have a big disconnect.
Mm-hmm.
This can't happen.
Right.
Y'all supposed to serve and protect us. They're feeling like you coming and you just invading their space.
Right.
They're not comfortable with you. This can't be going on. He like, what do you want me to do, Mr. Block? I'm like, I need you to agree to a town hall with my community. He like, I'll do it. He said, just the way you called me and the way you spoke to me, I
Mm-hmm.
want to do it. I said, that sounds amazing. He was like, how soon you want to do this? I said, ASAP.
Mm-hmm.
So we set it up, we put it together. I contacted the commander at 7D and let him know what was going on. They agreed to come as well. I put it together. It was called Woodland Town Hall meeting with MPD and the NSID unit. And when
Right.
I tell you, my community spoke up for themselves.
Yeah.
They spoke up for themselves.
Like,
And that was the first one that was the first one I ever done. But it's
was it
only the last.
was it like some hesitation at first, or was it just like?
So at first, it was before it started. I had like gathered all the boys together and I had my phone out. And I'm in my notes, I'm like, what questions do you want me to ask?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, ask him this, ask him that.
Mm-hmm.
And once we got started, I introduced myself, told them who I was, and we started with the questions. I went down my notes and I was asking all the questions. And in the process of me asking the questions, here go my boys on the sideline. And ask
Yeah.
them this.
Yeah.
And ask them that. I said, you know what we're going to do? My boys going to come over here and they going to ask y'all. You know what I told my boys? Because when the NSID unit came, all of them came.
Mm.
And they all sat in all the chairs.
Wow.
I said, y'all see this? This is the meeting that y'all wanted me to do. I can't do it all by myself. I said, this is your community. They sitting here in your community. They here for it. They want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
And I'm here to give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
So they came and got the mic, and it was on.
Mm.
They was passing the mic down, down, down. And what I respect about the NSID unit was they didn't take it personal, They answered the questions, and I mean, they agreed, like, with the riding in the sidewalks. We came to an agreement. They won't ride on the sidewalks no more.
Mm-hmm.
They apologized. We're not going to do that no more.
Right.
You have some dom girls, some gay girls in the community. My daughter is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Before you get the searching and grabbing, everybody from behind, make sure you know, if this the gender of the person, if this a male or if this a female. Because some people don't want to be touched in that way. Definitely, if it's a female, I don't care what they portray themselves to be, they still a woman, they still want to feel validated, regardless of what.
Mm-hmm.
So we came to some, we came to,
some
agreement,
consensus and
and it's like, they came to me, Charlie, and they were like, NSID unit, we just want you to do this again and again and again.
Mm-hmm. So do you plan to do it again?
Will.
You plan to do it again?
Yes, I'm definitely doing
That's
it again.
wonderful. Wonderful. And another thing that was huge, like I saw that and I was like, I saw some video that was posted, and I was like, wow, like I actually saw your boys out there answering questions. And traditionally, you know what I mean? Like you see the jumper, you far away, but for you to have that influence in your community, to be able to for the young boys and some of the adults that came out to speak their piece and tell them how they felt, that's huge. You know what I mean? Because that's a high level of trust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That many
And a
don't
lot of
have.
the guys are smart. They're really smart. And it's
Yeah,
just like, you have to explain to them, like, because you're telling the police how you feel, doesn't mean nothing. It
hmm
doesn't mean you hide, doesn't mean you right. You want some understanding of some
exactly.
of the things that they do. And the
Yeah,
only way you're going to get that understanding is if you speak up, because I can't
exactly.
always, I'm going to be there for you. I'm
hmm
going to ride with y'all. But all the time, I can't do all the talking for you.
Exactly.
You want to know? Come up here and ask them yourself.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. And they did. And they trust
Yeah, they
you
did. They
enough.
did.
And I
I
gotta give
love
you your
them. They did.
flowers. I gotta give you your flowers. I saw the video. Y'all can go on her page and look at it. You know, they put their trust in India enough to come out and talk and express how they felt. And I think that's progress. That's
Yeah.
progress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just that understanding. You know what I mean? It's an understanding.
Yeah.
You don't have to be labeled as hot. You're a human being. That's a human being. You got a job. I'm out here hanging around the neighborhood that I'm hanging around in. We got to have some type of mutual agreement on how you approach it. So I respect that. And
That's right.
that was a phenomenal event. And I'm looking forward to hearing about the next steps and the next events that you have like that, because that was huge.
Yeah.
Also, you've been advocating health and wellness in your community. A couple of weeks ago, you had We Fit DC come out and do a fitness
Yes.
activation, which was huge, and it was for breast cancer awareness. Um, Considering that this is the month of breast cancer awareness, but just awareness of breast cancer in itself and how to prevent breast cancer is powerful all year round. And you were able to bring out so many people for that event. Tell the people about, the event and the response that you got from the community during that event. And I also, because me and you have been talking, and you are also on your health and wellness journey as well. If you could say
Yes.
anything to the people right now after you talk about the event on how that's been working for you, how you feel with everything that you've been doing in the realm of health and wellness, you know what I mean? Please share that.
So, I've been following We Fit DC for a while now, and I pop up at some of the events, and the event is so dope. I wanted to bring We Fit DC to my community, just so that they can understand how important health is and how important exercising can be. And, I pitched it to the community. I let them know this is what's going to happen. They're like, okay, we're going to do it, we're going to do it. I'm like, listen, 10 o'clock in the morning, we outside, and this is what we doing.
Mm-hmm.
When I tell y'all, it was so many
There was a
people
lot of people out there.
outside working out. It was
Social
so
distance, yes, it
fun.
was.
Social distancing, it
Yeah.
was huge.
Mm-hmm.
When I say, even the police officer, she said to me, I wish I could take this uniform off and work out with y'all. I mean,
Wow.
it was amazing. I
Yeah.
loved it. We had fun. The community right now is asking me when I'm gonna bring it back. Look at me, y'all.
Getting it.
They
That's
asking me
right.
when am I gonna bring it back, because they enjoyed themselves. They want to do it again, and I'm looking forward to bringing it back. And I was telling Charlie, we gotta set a date for We Fit DC to come back.
Absolutely.
Me on my little health journey. So I started a 21-day challenge on October the 5th, and I actually just finished. But doing that 21-day challenge every morning before 9, you have to drink some apple cider vinegar with an 8-ounce glass of water. You have to drink a protein drink. You have to weigh yourself, and that's breakfast. For lunch, it was either a protein drink or a piece of fish. 64 ounces of water a day. At nighttime, you got to eat before 8. No eating or drinking before 8 o'clock. So y'all know how that went for me. It was like, it was a struggle. And doing all these exercises every single day. 200 fire hydrants, 50 push-ups, 100 donkey kicks, 300 jumping jacks, walking up the stairs. I had to do 800 stairs. No, you can't count going down, only count going up. So it's been, y'all, it's been rough, but
How do you
I
feel?
enjoyed it, and I'm still doing it.
Hmm.
Like my 21 days is over, so I'm still into the, staying healthy and stuff like that. I just got into another little program with Egypt. It's so dope. She's doing the same thing, but it's just, you know, you have to eat your breakfast before 9:30. You can't eat or drink nothing after 9:30. But it's fun because
Hmm.
her exercises are not as hard and her meal plan is totally different.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
powerful.
I like being healthy. You have a lot of energy. You just feel good. So,
Yeah,
I weigh
that's
myself
powerful.
every day. It's
That's
dope.
powerful.
That was cool.
Yeah, definitely. So y'all hear from Indy's mouth. Not only is she doing the work, but she's also working on wellness. So if you haven't started your fitness, your health and wellness routine, please do. That's gonna. I mean, I can like just doing the work that you all do and what you do as well. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of adrenaline. It takes a lot of energy. So
It do. It do.
considering that as we grow older, you're considering your health and your wellness. That's important. That's longevity. So thank
Yeah, of
you for sharing.
course. You know that.
Yeah,
That's serious.
yeah. So I wanted to ask you a question though, like in the work that you do, like, environments, coming from the environment that you come from, it can what are some of the hurdles that you may go through, like with, doing the work that you do and, you know, like others that you may have grown up with, seeing your vision, because sometimes like you could be out here doing the work, you like, yeah, we need to do this, we can impact our community in this way, but it's kind of hard to get through to some of those people that that can be impactful in your community, but you go through that hurdle with them, and you go through that kind of challenge with them seeing your vision. How do you deal with that?
I'm be honest. I just really pray and I continue to just do what I do, and I continue to bother them all the time. Like I still pitch my
Consistent.
ideas to those people. I still show them what I got may have going on tomorrow or next week or the next day.
Hmm.
Just to kind of get them involved because there's a lot of people that doesn't want to be involved, but once they see how great everything is going, then they eventually come around. And that's it it can be hard a lot. It can be really hard when you with certain people you expect to support you and they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
And I say that to say like it's a lot. Like, for me, I'm gonna support everybody because that's just who I am and it's just what I do.
Absolutely.
But it's a handful of people who I will always expect to support me or always have expected to support me who don't.
Hmm.
Then I got these people over here who don't even have to support me. Like, for what? What
Hmm.
do I owe you? I don't owe you anything.
Right.
And they my biggest supporters.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And on this journey, I have met like so many different positive people who I consider my sisters, and they got everything. Like if you see on Sundays, I'm in we have our own little small group,
Hmm.
and we're working on like our 10-year goal plan,
Wow. That's.
and it's about 6 of us.
Hmm.
And we meet on Sundays. I'm talking in the morning. We do brunch, and we have like stickies on the wall, and we be writing down the things we need to accomplish.
Hmm.
How are we gonna get there? What's gonna take us there? You know? And these group of ladies that I sit at the table with support me so much. It's like, what?
Yeah, it's
You know what I'm
unbelievable,
saying?
right? And sometimes it's hard to believe, right? Like coming from the environments that we grew up in, sometimes it's hard to believe that there's actual people that sincerely want to help and be a part of things. We oftentimes had this like, oh man, of course you want to have your instincts and you can't deal with just any and everybody, but sometimes, it's okay to let your guards down because there are people that genuinely want to help.
And when I say Charles, like, we sit in this group and we tell each other everything. Like our deep little darkest, we talk about everything. And it's like, it stay at this table. This the table. We break bread right here and it stay right here. You get
Absolutely.
what I'm saying?
Solid.
If I'm feeling like, if I'm going through something or something wrong, I can FaceTime them ladies at any time of the night.
Hmm.
And it's like, what's wrong? What's going on?
Right. Right.
And it's just, I'm just gonna tell you guys, like, it's so important to have people in your life that you can actually talk to, tell anything to, people who believe in you, because it's like you can believe in so many people, but you still need people that believe in you as well.
Hmm.
You
Absolutely.
still need your person too.
Hmm.
So like people lean on me and I'm people person. I'm
Yeah.
that person, but I got people that's my person. You know,
Right.
people that help me get through things that I'm going through. And I feel like it's very important. And I learned that through growing up, you know, by not expressing how I feel. Now that I'm older, I know expressing how I feel is very important. So I
Absolutely.
do that with these ladies because it's like a breath of fresh air. You hear me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and that's just that's I mean, wow. You know, your testimony is so powerful. You got a lot of comments coming through. Uh you have Shell saying God sends people to us to help because they genuinely care. That's a blessing. Man, you have a lot of people saying that's real. Sierra said that's real, 100. Say that part again. Love my three. And you got a lot of like hundreds, fist pumps, like praying hands, all types of stuff in the chat. People love you, India. And thank you for sharing. And again, if anyone has any questions, we have India for a little while longer. We're going. If you want to ask her anything, please drop it in the comment box. I'm going to try to take as many as possible. But you know, my final question I personally have for you is, there's a lot of people, like you said, sometimes you go through your battle, but you stay consistent with people that, you really know could do great work, has the talent to do it, but they may not see the vision at the particular moment, but you stay consistent and keep it in their face. You're constantly letting them know about what you got going on. That's huge, because sometimes you got to just keep putting it in people's face for something to spark in them. It took something to
Yeah.
spark in you. You know what I mean? So,
Yes, that's true.
so
Yes.
sometimes not giving up on people. That's huge what you're saying. I wanted to ask you, like, for people that's on, because I see a lot of people personally that I know we both know mutually, or maybe may know personally, and I may know personally, that want to get into the realm of the work that you're doing in the community, working with the youth and working with some of the people in the community and some of the vulnerable communities. How can they do that? What's the best method for them to do that? What's your advice on that?
You know, my advice to that is just, if that's what you really want to do, I say start off with building the relationships, you know, letting the people see that you genuinely care.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, just being that person for them. And like I'm gonna say this. You have a lot of people that I've seen come into my community and say, "Oh, we want to help,"
Mm-hmm.
but you're getting paid to help.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if this is something that you're passionate about doing and something you really want to do, regardless if you're getting paid or not, you're gonna do it anyway.
Exactly. Yeah, that's.
So show the people this is what you're passionate
Mm-hmm.
about doing. And then
Mm-hmm.
guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna gravitate to you. Because they're
Mm-hmm.
gonna know that you are serious and they're gonna know that you genuinely care. So for me, that's how I would say that's the approach to take. Don't
That's
take the
real.
approach where, oh, I'm funded for this community. No, because that doesn't matter. They see
Yeah.
past that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because, I mean, that's very true. Some people do. I mean, this is quite honest. Some individuals are in for the wrong intentions. You know what I mean? And that's real. This is the moment of truth. We do that. We keep it real. In some cases, you will see that in community work, not only in DC, but all over the nation, all over the world, that some intents aren't as pure as India's are. So I love that advice. And thank you for sharing that. I
Yeah.
did pin a question at the bottom. JoJo tapped in. Shout out to JoJo. one of the founders of We
Yo,
53.
yo.
He wanted to ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So, JoJo, in 5 years, where do I see myself? I see myself probably being the council member, JoJo. And
Uh-oh.
I know, right? That's
Wow.
something that I'm really passionate about, and I want our council member. I want to see him as my mayor.
You
To be
heard it
honest,
first. You heard it first on the moment of truth. India Blocker Ford put her on that ballot when our council member moves into his future endeavors. Put her on that ballot. Say it again, India. 5 years,
I
council
see
member.
myself as the Ward 8 council member in 5 years
Wow.
because it's the thing. It's like it's what I want. I want to help the people, and that's my thing. It's what I do. So I know if I can help the people in a high position, I know that I'm gonna do all I can do.
Wonderful, wonderful,
You know what
wonderful.
I'm saying? And the council member right now, he inspires me so
Right,
big. Like
right. That's great.
he just man, he listen, I'm inspired by him.
That's
Like you
wonderful.
gotta
That's
think
wonderful.
big.
Absolutely. You are thinking big, and that's huge. That's a huge goal. So, you know, again, I mean, you gave us an additional hour, which we are so thankful for. You came back on, you came through with your commitment like you always do. I want to personally thank you on the behalf of community connoisseurs for coming on tonight, and sharing your story, sharing your journey,
Yes.
sharing the things that you have going on. What we typically do, India, is on the last minute or so, 2 minutes that we have on the show, we leave the space open for you to share some of the future endeavors that you have, some of the things that are upcoming, what's next for NDB. And before you go, just give the people a couple words of encouragement, a couple empowering words that you can leave them with. Shout out to Wendy. Look at Wendy. Hey, Wendy, thank you for
Guess what,
joining.
Charlie? That's my clique. You hear what they
Yes,
saying?
I see them
When
tapping
the
in.
campaign, when we
Yeah.
start the campaign, let's do it,
Hey,
Simp. You see
hey,
that?
look. So
That's
look,
the type of
India.
listen. Those are the type of people you need in your life. Those
Absolutely.
people that's gonna always encourage you to be the best you. The people that's gonna,
Yes.
I'm talking about they your cheerleaders 100% all the time. Those are
Absolutely.
my cheerleaders. Right, wrong, or indifferent, Charlie. Those my cheerleaders. I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
I
We love
love
it.
them. It's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Shout out to Wendy. Wendy is a real one. She's a real one, and everybody in y'all, y'all team, like y'all doing real work. Y'all real, like you mentioned earlier, like you have that connection with the people. People can see you and understand you're real. I'll share a story really quick, and we're gonna go back into wrapping things up about when we did the food demonstration on this past Saturday over in Woodland, and just the people, the respect, the love that they have. Like you said earlier, you talk to them like you their mom, you know what I mean? And they're receptive to it. It's not like, oh, you disrespecting me. It's like, I'm sorry, India. You know what I mean? From young to old, you have that respect. That's why I give you the crown. You've been had the crown, but I'm gonna just say it on the moment of truth. You are the queen of Woodland. You know what I mean? And I love the work that you're doing. So
Thank
before
you,
we wrap
Charlie.
up, please tell the people what you have going on, how they can find you, what's coming up next with NDB, your next events, and leave them with some words of encouragement.
So you can find me at on IG at ndb.models. My website ndb.org. This coming up weekend, I have a Halloween party for my community. You can donate candy if you want to. Hit me up in my NDB inbox, or even if you want to pull your card for the trunk part, you can pull your card, give the kids the candy in my community. November the 12th, I have the Friendsgiving in the community where I'm going to feed the whole community Thanksgiving. Just do a little bonding because I think that's important. And November the 24th, I have something with the council member. We're going to issue out turkeys to the community. That's going to be great. And then I have my Christmas giveaway coming up. I do every year. I haven't decided on a date, but just keep checking my page, check the website, and it'll be posted. I can let you know how you can donate on Saturday. But
Hey,
for next year, God forbid, if COVID is on a better level, I'm going to jump full force back into NDBs, and the NDB Soldier thing. And I just want to, build my program up and make it bigger than what it is. It's already big, but I just want to be huge. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
I want to really open it up to all the wards. You know what I'm saying? If I had the capacity of staff, we could go from ward to ward and bring NDBs. I think that would be amazing because that's something I want to do. I like helping the people. It's like, it does something to me, I'm going to say this too. So I had a birthday party, right, you guys? A birthday cookout in July. For my birthday, all I wanted to do was feed my whole community seafood. So I did seven bushels of crabs, 100 pounds of shrimp. I did corn on the cob, sausages, everything. Y'all in my community, they celebrated my birthday with me. We are family. Like,
That's
I had
powerful.
so much fun. Like, they are everything to me. So,
That's
that's what
wonderful.
I got going on. And just
And
a couple
lastly, a
of words
couple
of
words.
encouragement.
Yeah, there you
Listen,
go.
do you. Never let nobody tell you you can't be the best you that you can be because you always can. And guess what? Hang around a group of people who wants the same things in life out of life that you want to. Sometimes you grow out of a certain space and you go into a new space. And I'm gonna tell you, like, be that person. Be that person who makes a difference in somebody else's life. Because that's who I am.
Absolutely, absolutely. So thank you
Thank
again
you,
for joining us on the
Charlie.
Moment of Truth, India. We love you. Keep doing the
I love
great
you
work that
guys
you're doing.
too.
The community loves you. Until next time, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye.
So there you have it. NDB came on the Moment of Truth tonight and blessed our platform with all of the great things that she's doing, told us about her upbringing. We even had a real-time moment with NDB. That was one of the, that's going to be a legendary moment once we look back on these. And I just want to give a special thanks to everybody that tapped in tonight. You came in. This is every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. This is the Moment of Truth. We have a lot of people doing great work that comes onto this platform. If you're not already following Community Connoisseurs, please follow us at community_connoisseurs. And we'll see you next week. Stay safe out here. Be blessed. See you next week. Peace.